Welcome, people of life, light, and darkness. Tonight, I'm giving this discussion that they don't come from us. I think it's a big insult, a huge insult, when the conversation arises on, and they choose to say that the Caucasian comes from the Black woman. I don't think there is a bit of truth in it, to be honest with you. Actually, I find it downright insulting and disgraceful. And here's why. Here's why. We, why would, why on earth would a group of people that are by far different come along and choose to make a spectacle of the anatomy and the physique and the phenotype of another group of people that are totally different than them? See, there's got to be a spiritual hidden concept behind that, one that has not really been examined. Because I find it racist to say that. You see, I consider myself a strong Black woman. And let me explain. Not strong because I'm born with the strength, but only strong in the sense that I've overcome a lot of obstacles that have stood up in my way in my lifetime. But don't challenge me on my strength and say that, or think that because I'm Black and I'm female, that somehow I'm strong enough to handle certain things, because that would be far from the truth. In order to thrive, I've had to survive. I've been forced into a situation where I had no choice but to be strong or fall or or die. You know? So in that, how do you give other people those credentials of coming from the same ancestries as you come from, when the whole process of weakening your ancestors had to take place before the result of that which has continuously killed who you are and hidden from you your own identity. Your own identity. What type of people live comfortable in the fact that there are people who are in pain due to the life their ancestors have afforded them. What type of people? But yet, on the other hand, at the same time, benefit from a certain elements that they've put forward that go against your natural being on this planet. That would have you thinking that somehow they derived from your great, black, strong, and beautiful ancestors. Something to ponder, you know, definitely something to ponder. Because as we see today, they tell you one thing about yourself. Like, I think tomorrow I'm going to get into the power of darkness because, I talked about it before, but I'm going to get into that tomorrow. Or no, I think I'm going to do seance tomorrow. I think Saturday, no, Sunday I'm doing darkness. Sunday I'm going to get into darkness. Okay. But that's because they want that. And then I'm going to talk about energy. That's because that they want that power, and we tend to we tend to give that power. And until we learn to stop quoting things that just ain't true without somehow you've been robbed of something. I repeat, until we learn to stop chanting this witchcraft against ourselves about somehow it takes a process of robbing you from something before they can come into existence. You see what I'm saying? So you were robbed of something. Hey there, real Aaron Collins. How you doing, brother? So you were robbed of something in order. It's a process, but they would have you think that somehow, and they're still robbing you. They're still robbing you. Even damn well they do not come from no black woman. They do not derive from a black woman. They do not derive from my ancestors. Because if you derive from my ancestors, you're going to look like my ancestors. Unless some foul play was involved, which I suspect. I'm a spiritual racist over here. Because somebody has to be for the people. Nobody else wants to be racist. Everybody wants to be good. Okay, Jane Elliott, she said the other day that black women do it to survive and white women do it to get along. No, black people as a whole try to get along with the white race. So we're hush hush. We're afraid that our businesses might be affected by what we say. We're afraid that we might be approached by a white person. Hell, let them approach me and say whatever they want to say. If they want to roll, we roll. It's a free country and I fought for it. That's all you need to know. So, and they don't control. Once you know the power of your darkness, once you know the power, you can say whatever, do whatever you want to do out here and not hide behind anything, or hide anything. Because I don't have to hide. I don't have to lie. Because, to tell you the truth, there's nothing that they can give me. I can't be bought. My silence can't be bought. So yes, I'm a spiritual. I'm working from the spiritual realm against racism, and it takes a racist to run a race. Their side has all kinds of racists. Jane Elliott's a racist, and she's winning out here. She's been winning since the 80s, since the 70s, since the 60s. Since the 60s, she's been winning. Interracial relationships have went up since she's spread her propaganda. Her propaganda about survival, because they know that the black man and black woman are not having any problems in these days and times. Only problems we have is we're going to lose a lot of our people, because a lot of our people choose to be subjugated. They choose to get along. It's been us that chose to get along. We're not survivalists because it's not necessarily in us. So environmentally, what they have to do in the physical existence, what did they do? What did they tell us they did in slavery? They deprived us of our riches, deprived us of our life, deprived us of our self-control, deprived us of food, deprived us of life. So we ultimately were stripped down to nothing. And being stripped down to nothing, that is environmentally conditioning you to take on an ability of something that you didn't have to worry about before, and that's survival. That's survival. See, we didn't have to think or worry or be concerned over survival. We're not the ones who crusade all over the world to get resources. We're not the ones who did that. We were the ones who, communicated with our brothers and sisters on other continents. And we did trade, and we did sharing and exchanging ideas as well. But we never did conquer and control and kill. Now that is a idea that came along way before we were enslaved. And it was, hovering around the planet, because as you know, historically, there was a lot of conquering, a lot of kicking people off their lands going on before we went into slavery. And so happened, that's what happened to us. That's what happened to us. It's all about, in its physical existence, it was about survival for them. That's why the ancestors were talking about, and they showed, how the animal is going to be what we call savage. In this physical existence, you got to take on the animal mentality. But if you people are balanced, as a black man and black woman is, you don't have to take on the animal mentality. We do not have to conquer people. We don't run around here. That's how you know the difference between us and others. It's a process to wipe the black woman of her dark power that she possessed. It was a process. She didn't just have a baby with a black man and it come out Caucasian. That's what they would have you believe. And I think that's a downright racist insult to me. It's a downright racist insult. About worse insult than saying that we evolved from animals, to me. DNA, the melanin difference, and a whole lot of other evidence that we have today tell us different. So you no longer can use that they come from the African woman, that they come from us. Because common sense will tell you that why are they going straight to the dark mother and not seeing in between the process that was done to her? You know, you have to get light, 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 and light, light, and damn near white. And then from that damn near white child, somehow she then contacted someone who was different, someone who has phenomelanin, or someone who has what I call brimstone in their melanin, because you know it's sulfur based. Someone who had a lot more sulfur based melanin before that process could happen. Then and only then can you say your ancestry was from the Black woman. But other than that, don't have these little Caucasian run around here like they really come from something great, because they don't. They don't. After they sit up and come from two Neanderthal parents and then turn around and say, well, we're all from Africa. No. Yes and no, because the whole planet was Kubalan. The whole planet was Africa. But on that same note, there were two different worlds on this planet that collided. Two totally different worlds that have come in contact with each other. One is death, one is life. One is eternal death, and one is eternal life. One is burning you and torturing you and showing you things that keep your energy on a daily basis, showing you people getting murdered, showing you people being harmed, showing you people being lied to, showing babies, innocent babies that can't fend for themselves, been harmed, telling you of such. That is a world, that's a world of torture. That's not a world of love and life. Not at all. And how dare them say that, and blame it on the unseen, like it's the unseen's fault, you know. By no means do I think, you know, that you can walk into the nothingness and you die. No, that doesn't work like that. You have to have some kind of interaction. You have to have an interaction with the very thing that created all this mess, that set our world out of balance, you know. So it hurts me to think that we chant they come from us, and people are really believing, or people are really thinking this, because it hurts, because as Black people, as people of darkness, of people of light, we control the light, we control the darkness. But if you don't know your powers and you think that something outside of yourself does all that, and it's been hidden from us that we control all of that, and we don't get up and we don't make moves, we won't make moves because our brain will be like like Bill Gates wants our brains to be like normal without any kind of activity on the left or the right side. We need balance activity on both sides of our brains. We need to get that moving. Once we know our spiritual self, once we know our physical self, once we understand ourselves wholeheartedly, because it all, the attachment, our connection is of stars, definitely the stars. Once you understand that once you understand, because understanding is under them. So understanding who you are through your stars, only then can you rise up and be a true warrior. Be a true warrior. And that is coming. It is coming. You know, if you're understanding things, then you're out here trying to be like Hillbilly Bob and you picking up weapons. You don't know how to put the telescope on it right. You doing because Billy Bob was given the weapon. Billy Bob, our people invented all that. Billy Bob needed that. That's how mighty and great we were as people. We didn't need weapons. Billy Bob came with his weapons. Because he knew, somehow he knew a weakness that we had as a people. And that weakness, we can see it in our society every day. And that's the fact that they can keep us in that left side of the brain and thinking that's a reality and not knowing about anything else about ourselves, but thinking that what we see is what it is. And we won't know until we get a bullet piercing our hearts and we're somewhere in between this life and death. And somehow, miraculously, the bullet is easy, able to be pulled out of a position that it was in. And our lives are able to be saved before we truly know the truth. And only then. The truth without having somebody coerce it through these different ideologies that we battle against in our daily life. But the truth that came from your ancestors have been trying to speak to you from within while you were so busy doing things on the left side of the brain and thinking that that is life, you know. Only until then will the realization come that you are greater than what you know. And it takes a hardship, that's what I say. It takes a hardship to wake up, to truly wake you up. That's why it comes in your own time. I can't tell no one. No one can tell me. No one could ever have told me. I would have never believed, I would have never listened. I think someone tried to tell me something, but I may have not been ready at that time. And I was busy with the left brain focused on the things of this world. And you never forget what that person was, that seed they were trying to tell you about. And it somehow stayed within you, but it blossomed into something. It's like I picked it up different places, but wasn't listening, wasn't hearing it, you know, until synchronicity hits and you have to sit down and think it all over, piece it together. You know, the magic is there. I'm not. I finally got my logos together. Before I was frustrated. I was frustrated at it, and I was like, it's so much work, and how do I do this? I felt like my mind was just so void of the things I used to know how to do. But once I sat down, focused, and I got it right. Sit down within yourself and focus and stop looking at things outside of self, and hold your own feet to that fire, because you are fire. We are the wind. We are the earth. We are everything. The water, everything. So in knowing that, I mean, it's evident. Why else would a whole people that you went through a process of creating, of making, majority of the people today are an extension of our ancestors because of the process that was done to our people. The process of rape, the process of self-hate. It was a process that's the only way. It has to be a process. Don't insult my intelligence and tell me they come from Africa. The world wouldn't have came from Africa until you did that process upon our people. It was a process. Just say that. Just be honest. Don't say they come from us. They don't come from us easy. They don't come from us fairly. They don't come from us out of balance. They come from us out of chaotic hate, disease, death. Explain the hard atrocities that our people had to endure for these people to be born, for these people to live. I think that's what the ancestors want me to talk about today. Never forget. Never forget. Never forget, because one thing they don't understand is, or they don't understand, one thing they don't comprehend, let's say it like that. So I could care less whether they understand, or understand, is that we are our ancestors. Their blood still runs in our DNA. When they die, if they didn't make it off the planet, then they're still on this planet. They haven't been released from this planet. Because once they're released from this planet, they go back into our bloodstream. They're within our DNA again. But as long as they haven't made it, they've still been entrapped here. They are entrapped here. And that's an atrocity in itself. But I'm going to talk more tomorrow when I talk about seances, communication. And then Saturday, energy vampires. And then Sunday, we will be discussing the darkness, the dark power of the dark energy that we should be utilizing along with our light work. When you have light work, you have dark work, all in balance, all in balance. So with that said, thank you, real Erin Collins. Thank you for being here. Beautiful Anna. Thank you, sister. Thank you, Vincent52. And I'll see you guys on y'all's channels. With that said, true love, real peace, and the higher self, the soul within. Till next time.